Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. It is that one. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Kelly Snyder. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. We got a press conference coming up here in 37 minutes or so. I'm just checking out some of my emails and stuff. Hold on. What's this update they're talking about?
Here's where things stand tonight in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of civilian.
Let's see. I don't know whose video that is, so I'm just playing. Oh, this isn't. Oh, yeah, this place here. This is not related. That's some other dude. I'm not sure why they're playing that video there.
Authorities have not confirmed whether those incidents are directly connected, but say they are being taken seriously as...
Yeah, this is some other... I saw this in the news. I don't know why that's being connected there. Let's see. Made it to the live chain for a change. Cool. Today was a scheduled press conference. However, if you were watching yesterday, there was just a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we had they reopened the crime scene at Nancy Guthrie's place. They put yellow tape back up, and then had dogs around. And it doesn't look like that yellow tape's there today, so I don't know what they were doing. And then they also had a vehicle over at Nancy's. Law enforcement, FBI, etc. was over there. Now, some people are saying that they were there because that's where the family was gathering to do the coaching of what... But, I mean, they were taking boxes out or taking items out of the house. And, so I don't know. It's hard to say what... There's just so much conflicting information out there. And then... So you had that, and then you had the family give their speech to the, quote, would-be abductors, you know what I mean? And when I listened to that, it sounded to me as if they'd already received something, some form of audio or video, but they wanted more proof because things can be faked. Or, I guess it's possible that they were just saying that to make sure they give them something that's absolutely verifiably true if they're going to send them something. But to me, it seems like they had already received something. But I think either way, it seems to confirm that the letter they got, they think is real. You know, the letter that came in. I mean, again, it could be that there's a letter, and then also this other thing came in that's a video and audio, and they believe it's true. But either way, something they received, they believe is true. Thanks, Susie Clue. Let's see. What the Daily Mail has here. Devastating secret message in Savannah Guthrie's video. Secret message. Yeah, it seemed to me like it was totally orchestrated. That video that we watched yesterday. All right, nothing in there. Hey, thank you, Paul Ayers. I'm gonna be heading out here probably. I don't know, like it. I don't know. We'll just see. Might be afternoon or something, but let's see. We gotta do the press conference, and then we'll see what we figure out what they're saying. I'm actually supposed to be going on I have 2 trips that I do each year. They're just like 2 days each, and one of them's to the coast, and both of them are to the coast. And there's always a big case, right? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Either solved or a big case that I'm working on. It's funny, I said that on the show last night, and today my wife said, man, it seems like every time you go on that trip, there's something big happening. And I was like, see? I wasn't lying, man. That's true. Let's see. And they usually have it on their Facebook page. So let me see if I can find that. And then it's usually really low audio, so I boost it up a little bit. All right, let's see, Pima. The Pima County Sheriff's Department extends our deepest condolences to our partners at the following last night's tragic Ranger helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 2 people on board. Man, that sucks. Okay, so this is normally where they have it over here. Right over here in the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Hasn't happened yet, but they usually they put something out here, starts playing, so we'll see how that goes. Hey, thank you so much, Nina. Yeah, if you guys appreciate the super chats, if you guys want to put a message in one of them, we can talk about it. My conspiracy is that it was a slighted co-worker of Savannah's. No way. Yeah. Someone that wanted to do the Olympic gig. That's just such a huge stretch, Somebody wanted to have the gig, so said, hey, if we abduct Savannah's mom, they'll put me in there. Well, how would that, how would you make sure that you were the one that got put in there? I just think it's something totally different. But hey, you know what? You never know. Yeah, we give out, a lot of freaks give out channel memberships. So if you got one, welcome. Yeah. So as we've been talking about, Savannah, Guthrie's mom, Nancy, went missing, I would say, Sunday morning at 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. Her heart pacemaker stopped connecting to the network right around that time, and her phone and her watch were at home, and those are what are, connected to the network. And so that means once they lost connectivity, they, stopped connecting, and then that's the precise time she was removed from the home, right around 2 a.m. Could be 1:57, could be 2:03, or, we don't know the precise time. But apparently, the night before, she was out with her daughter and her husband, and the daughter's husband, playing mahjong. Dropped off at 9:30, according to Annie and her husband. 9:45-ish, something like that. And then the next morning, she was supposed to go to church. Now there's reports out there that she didn't go to church. I mean, so Daily Mail reported that she doesn't normally even go to church. She just watches it online. So how would somebody... It doesn't show that you're watching online, so how would somebody know that she didn't make it to church? So that creates a whole nother issue. But regardless, the story is at this point that she was supposed to go to church. She didn't show up. So concerned people called family. Then they drove back over there. So it would be Annie and her husband. They drove back over there at 11:10. They're there. And I'm not sure how they know the precise time of that, but 11:10 they go over there. And then they look around, they don't find her, so then at 12:20 or so they call police and say, hey, our mother's missing. It's interesting though, because it seems like you would, if you went through the front door when you got there, you'd see blood all over the place on the ground, and maybe you would have called a little sooner, but it is what it is. They called it 12-something. And the police got there, and they could see signs of a struggle. That's the word that the sheriff was going to say in a press conference the other day. And they could see signs of struggle. Both I guess their Nest cameras were broken, smashed off of their mounts. And... it's weird. I didn't see the one in the front smashed off. They might have collected it off the ground, though. Maybe it was sitting there. Those are smashed off. They haven't mentioned that anything was stolen. Her phone, wallet, car keys, her car was there. Basically, it looked like she would still be home, basically. But she's not home, and she can't walk very well. Hardly at all. She needs medication to keep her alive, they say. And that's, and she disappeared. And then, it's just really been a lot of stuff going on lately. So you had, and then the police gave the house back to the family. They cleared it. Here you go. And then the very next day, they switched that. Hey, thanks, SBA. I don't think so. I don't think so, SBA. There's a lot of sensationalism that guy puts out. I think it's more that they have the ability to review and analyze cell phones better than most people. So that's probably the real reason they were there. Okay? If you like sensationalism, that's probably what you want to listen to. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, so hold on. Let me get this other. You know, I'm not saying it's impossible that there's some other thing that they found over there, but I just doesn't feel like it. Let's see. So Ashley said to me, agents who came out to Annie's house, I said this on the show last night, so, I mean, you probably could have got it from here, SBA, instead of mentioning that other person. We said the same thing on the show 4 or 5 times. Agents who came out to Annie's house had jackets that said ICAC, International Crimes Against Children Task Force, which does cell phone and tech analysis. Okay, so wouldn't that just make more sense, you know? Wouldn't that make more sense? Yeah. But sure, it could be for another reason. It just seems like, okay, you're going to go analyze. These people are probably the best at analyzing cell phone data because you're trying to track kids, etc. Oh, you did? Jeez. Yeah, I saw you last night. So I was kind of surprised you missed that part. I always like when we have video already playing of the room, you know? That's when I feel good. And they've been putting it out there. Yeah, so they gave the house back to the family. And then yesterday they sealed it back up again. Yellow tape, dogs out there, all kinds of stuff. A couple days ago they had a drone flying really low with people hanging out the helicopter. And maybe they were trying to activate have the cell phone or something connect with the heart monitor or the pacemaker again. Maybe something like that. They were flying around. And then Ashley Banfield reported that, I think she worded it like, you know, possibly the main suspect is the husband of Annie. And yesterday she stuck with it completely. When, you know, she was on Megyn Kelly's show, she completely stuck with the story and said that her source still says the same thing. So I actually think she's onto something there. Yeah, it seems like she's very certain about this person. And reporters like that, they don't do what YouTubers generally do. The ones that just start throwing out names and start accusing people. She has to have information that really tells her that. Okay? Now, I would think even if I got that information, I might not say it just because it's a good source. I might start alluding to the possibility of somebody in the family, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, that's a decision people make. But hey, guys, if you're out there and you want to help support the channel, get some channel memberships, etc., I'm going to try to do updates and so forth from where I'm at later, but I'm not sure if I can. But if you want to get some channel memberships and buy super chats, maybe put a message to talk about, that'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, she's like the perfect target for somebody like this. You know, if it's somebody out there, If somebody wanted to abduct her, you got a single 84-year-old woman who is very immobile, has no internal security system, it doesn't sound like. They have cameras inside, but that's not really security. It's just sort of like, hey, look. It's also interesting that she has a camera in her room, I think. So the camera's in her room, and if you think about it, like, why would you have a camera in your own room? The reason you have a camera in your own room is to give access to somebody else to look at it. That means you're like, hey, here's an image to my room in case something happens. You can check, and then and who would you give it that to locally? You would think you would give it to your daughter, right? And then, so that means that camera, the access to looking at that camera, would let you know if somebody was sleeping, etc. That they're not moving about. And so I wonder, it sort of makes you wonder if if there is a connection to the family, then somebody could easily check to see if she was even up. Well, not if she knew. If she really feels like she trusts her source, Melissa. She says a really high up level person. I mean, risky towards who? Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure what you're saying. I don't think it would have anything to do. I mean, it seems like yesterday they hurriedly, once that came out, that's when all the flurry of activity happened. Like they were trying to hurry up and quickly get ahead of it. Apparently, Kash Patel's heading over there. And I think that means that they're close to making an arrest, and he wants to be there when the arrest is made and do the press conference. The hardworking men and women of the FBI, he'll say. Yeah, might be something like that. This is where it's normally is at, right here, in here. We'll see. Supposed to start here in 15 minutes. In her mother's house for... Right. But I wasn't asking about what the camera, for falls or whatever. What I'm saying is you would put one in your own room so that other people can see what's happening if you fell or whatever, right? That's the key point, not the why, what is it that might happen that might make her, it's like you put it in your room so that other people can see you. Because in your own house, why would you want one in your own room? You wouldn't need one in your own room. You'd need one in the living room, the front door, etc. That you could see somebody coming and call 911. The reason there'd be a camera in your room is so that somebody else could be monitoring you if needed. Right? And if that's true, though, then I guess, the family would have got up at whenever they got up and may have looked there first on a camera and went, wow, she's not there. I don't know. That's the whole thing. Thank you, Eagle, Stars, and Stripes. Thank you for covering the presser, listening while I work. My folks live right there, and I have been worried. Wow. They live right in the same little community? That's crazy. I have friends who set up cameras to monitor their elderly parents. Right. There you go. I'm not going. Who said I'm? Yeah, somebody in the comment section yesterday said, "Gray, have you ever been to a case when it's active? You know?" And I don't. You know, I mean, the thing is, some of them are like, for example, Tyler Robinson. You know, that he was arrested right away, but I went to that place. I went to Delphi. I'm not. It wasn't really active. I mean, you know, for 5 years they didn't make an arrest in that case. But yeah, the Delphi, right locally, I've been to, like when Allison Watterson was missing, I went out there multiple times, and then eventually they found her body or bones, you know, almost right where I was at one point. It was crazy. I've been to, um, you know, Idaho 4 case. You know, of course, he was arrested relatively soon. I just don't know why anybody, like, the thing is, I can do most of the stuff that I do from right here, you know. I'd love to be able to be there, you know, if I had the resources that you know, people like Enton have, that they just pay for a ticket, they fly him out there, boom, he's got all this shit, then the trucks show up, and you know, he's got everything that he needs. That's just how it works for those people. Yeah, I've got a lot of places. You know, they just don't care, these people. They just trolls. Yeah, Life 360 is a pretty cool thing. I like it. It also can track. You can put these little cards that you can buy, little chips that you can put to your keys. You can put one on, you know, maybe attach it to your cell phone. Or your cell phone doesn't need one because your cell phone's part of it. But like your keys and your wallet. You know, and you can just track where it is. Yeah, me and Brian Enton aren't the same. I wish I could go there, because if I combining what I do with being there is a pretty powerful thing, because I think through the cases better than a lot of these people. They're just like, ooh, hurry up, sensational shot, hurry up, look at this, you know? And that's really about it. I don't really care. I just like to put together the story and get it out accurately. I live out here too. It's unsettling, but I think it's someone known to her. Right, yeah. Yeah. Like what I was saying the other day was, if it's somebody that she knows, and if she wasn't removed for a ransom, then it's really bad. I mean, then there's really low chance. But if she was removed by somebody else, and it was ransom, then you'd think ransom should be alive. But I guess even in the other case, if it's a family member and it's a ransom, you'd still have to be alive too. But the only way it seems like to make it work if it's a family member ransom would be if it's a ransom hire situation, where somebody, a friend of, for example, you know, the person that Ashley mentioned, hired somebody else to abduct the mother. They set up cryptocurrency accounts, and we're hoping that Savannah, with deep pockets, would fill the crypto account with some money, and then they'd give the mother back. But this other person would do it that Nancy does not know. And then through back channels and other crypto accounts, he would somehow get some of the money to the family member. That's my conspiracy theory, which actually makes sense. And if you watch the message that was put out yesterday, it seems to match the way they looked perfectly. Thank you, KMTX. Yeah. Feels hard to pin down a suspect who would DNA finger. Well, if you don't have. Yeah, plus, I probably didn't have. If it's a family member, and there's DNA in the house, and it's hard to say, hey, wow, what's that person doing there? Now, if they can find DNA on, for example, the 2 broken cameras, that would be circumstantial touch DNA that would mean something. Yeah, I don't think those people, they wrote the script at all for that that thing yesterday. That conversation. There's no way in hell. When all 3 of them were sitting there on camera, I think that was totally, completely written to send a message to whoever law enforcement wanted the message to get to. Because whoever is out there and part of this, absolutely watch that somewhere. Oh, any amount helps there, SBA. Thank you. Very kind, very kind. If Annie's husband did it, maybe she was a part of it. Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I hope, in some ways, I hope neither one of them have to do with it. But if the husband did, then there's a really good shot that, Nancy's still out there somewhere. Because they'd have to prove that she's alive and then turn her in at some point. I don't know. Sometimes these ransom people, if you get the money first, then what happens? I don't think if you were negotiating like that, you would do that. Yep, Trump's called Savannah, yep. Hey, look at that. I got a road trip Snickers from 8675309. Da, 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 da. Yeah, see, when you watch what do you call that yesterday? The message to the kidnapper, right? They seemed, the 2 on the edges, Cameron and Annie, were just sort of like drones sitting there. And that's because they don't have they're not public speakers. In the middle is Savannah, who's able to emote emotions, emote feelings, etc., out there on the in front of people because she's trained. She knows how to do this. So she's the one giving the speech. The other 2 are just like, yeah, almost like they know. And what if you knew already? What if those 3 people in there already knew that Annie's husband is the prime suspect? Picture how they acted in there. Didn't they act exactly how that would be? You have the brother who looked angry over there. And then on the left-hand side, you had Annie, who was just sort of like really out of it, just talking like a robot. And then you have Savannah, really emotional, right in the middle. And the key part was when they were talking about, the information about AI and stuff like that. It almost seems like they already have some proof, but it was a voice and maybe an image, and they need something more. That's what it seems like. So let's see if we get something. I think the sheriff is going to double down on not putting people's names out there, etc. I'm hoping it's a little higher level than this. Because I think Cash Patel's already there. It's okay, Stevie. Oh, yeah. No worries, man. We've all been there. Hey, Stevie, check it out. I bet you haven't done this. I was at a bar one night. I don't know, it was like 15 years ago. And back then I used to chew a little bit when I would drink. It was kind of gross. But anyways, I was playing video poker for a minute. And I just started going, because it was like I drank too much, and then the combination, I was just started spinning around. So I went into the bathroom, and I sat there with my elbows on my knees on the toilet, just because I was spinning. And I closed my eyes, and then I opened them up, and I walked out, and all the chairs were on top of the tables, and they were vacuuming the floor. I think I was in there. I fell asleep in there for 3 hours, okay? Yeah, it's supposed to be coming up here. It's supposed to be coming up right here. Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what was the deal there. It didn't seem like I drank that much. It was just sort of like the combination just made me like, you know. They started calling me, what was it? Shit Van Winkle. All right, so I have you beat, man. Thank you. I've told this story before on the show, for God's sakes. Haven't you heard it? All right, where is the press conference? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I have Court TV's version over here, just in case.
Sheriff is watching.
You're supposed to, usually it's over here.
Maybe on the other side.
All right, so here's Court TV's version, and usually it's right here too. But man, I always feel better when I see stuff moving around. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Either one. All right. Hey, welcome, Samantha. Well, unfortunately, what I just told you is a true story. Yeah. It was so weird. They go, "What are you doing here?" I mean, what I thought was the strangest part is there wasn't anybody that needed to check the toilet the whole night. Like, I just... Is that a test here? What are these?
You're all gonna get moved. Trust me. We're gonna move these.
Hey, that was the Court TV guy right there. Oops, hold on. Come on. I think these guys usually go live over here. Are they? Man, really, this case has really picked up in terms of popularity. This is almost like Coburger, you know, the Idaho 4 now. I wouldn't move other people's mics. I'm not touching them. You hear that?
Okay, we can put it down.
Man, what a chaotic looking scene in there, you guys. I mean, this is... Wow. Yeah, it's internet. I mean, I think it might be bigger than Idaho 4 was for a while there, and then it got really big later, but... All right, guys, if you can hit that like button, that'd be great. If you're out there and you want to buy some channel memberships for other people, that would be cool. Thank you. Or get me a Snickers. You know what, you guys, that bar that happened to me in was the same bar that the waitress that I thought was really, or, you know, the bartender that sat with me that I thought was really pretty, and I said, man, your eyes, they look like a lizard. So a lot of weird, bad things happen in there. And that's where our emoji comes from, you guys. This one right here, lizard eye, this one. That's where that comes from. It was my great pickup line. The woman that had exotic eyes, I said, your eyes look like a lizard.
This one even said we should get some fancy...
Didn't work. Yeah, I was there, and she sat with me. She was a bartender. She sat with me at my table. She had really pretty eyes. They were like, looked like cat eye kind of things. And I looked at her and I said, she sat with me though, so at least I had that going for me. And I said, man, your eyes look like a lizard. She didn't even ask, like, what do you mean? She just got the hell out of there. Well, no, I meant they're exotic looking. Yeah. Brother was seething yesterday. Yeah, he looked kind of... Yeah, it was a compliment. Yeah. That's what it was meant to be. You know, I think if it was somebody that actually liked me, they would have thought it was funny or something. But, you know, probably not the best first line. You know what I mean? No, I didn't get a slap. But what's wrong? Hey, look at what's wrong if I said your eyes look like a lizard? Wouldn't you want to say, well, what do you mean they look like a lizard? I'd say, well, they're just exotic looking, really, really pretty. I never got the chance to, you know, say the next line. It was... No, I meant... Yeah, I think once you see it over here, you're getting closer. These people, they do play it live over here. Yeah, Camera's a fighter pilot. Annie does poems, etc. You know, an author. Annie's husband's been, you know, conspicuously absent. Yeah, wouldn't you have been? Yeah, exactly. Mama Da, hey, thank you. See, you're probably somebody it would have worked out with. You know? Let's see, what do we have here? She did you a favor by leaving. That woman reminds me of the type that prefers to talk first and never... Yeah, exactly. You know, the kind that you ask them a question and they go on for hours and they never once ask anything about yourself. Yeah, that type, yeah. And they're always going, yeah. Like when you're talking, they're not listening. They're waiting for their next... Yeah. Okay, yeah. Like the time when I went to the... you know, well, how about you comment about what I just said? Yeah, you ever thought of that? No, not really interested, Kevin. Thanks. Did he actually have them on his show, all of them, and he debated them? Or was he debating things that they had said in the past? Want for it to be that the family is involved. I know, yeah. That sucks. I mean, I think the case would be a little bit more, you know, interesting if it's still some random person out there and it's not related to the family. You know, it'd be like, whoa, okay, Jesus. And then, you know, you have to shift gears. You've seen those type though, right? They go, yeah, this one time, like when I just told my story about the bar, right? Right when you're in the middle of it, you're like, yeah, and then I was on the toilet, and then you see their eyes sort of look up in the air, and they start going, yeah. That means they haven't heard a damn thing. The next 15 lines out of your mouth, they didn't hear a word you said, okay? Because they're formulating the story they want to tell in their mind and don't want to forget it because, my God, theirs is better than the one you just told. Yeah, one time at band camp. But hey, guys, if you're out there and you can help support the channel, allows us to do all the stuff that we do over here, that would be awesome. Going to be heading out here today, and hopefully, maybe if there's an update later, I can do like a cell phone live with my iPad thing on the side and read through some stuff, but definitely could use your guys' support. Did they know Annie and the husband? Yeah, well, did they tow the car? They said they towed the car, but they were the last one to drop her off, so maybe they're just doing it to rule out something. How far is the drive from? Oh, today it's 240 miles. I checked. It's 1,100-mile drive to get to Arizona. Hey, thanks so much there. Angela King. See how you can't. I was like, what does laking mean, for God's sakes? Angela King. What is Angela? That's just funny. Oh, God. What does that even mean? What does that mean? What's laking? Is that a new verb? Yes, today I'm going laking. Well, I'm going to go visit a lot of different lakes. Actually, that's kind of cool, right? Hey, I'm going laking today. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, Garnett. I would say the proof would maybe be that it looked like she was in bed already. 2 in the mornings when she was, removed from the home. You wouldn't think that they were there for 4.5 hours. I guess the investigation. How long were they playing mahjong? Did they really leave at 9:30ish? The sheriff has been really, he made sure to always keep saying that they're the ones that we're basing the timeline on. You go laking in the summer? Yeah. They haven't. I don't think she had a security system with alarms. They have the cameras, and Ring doorbell has a security system you can purchase with it. It's pretty good because you can't really bypass it since a lot of it's battery powered. Nope, it hasn't happened yet. We're waiting. It usually shows up on the Pima County site. But it's also over here on Court TV, so, whichever one. I think they 100% know that the pacemaker went off at 2 a.m. and that's when they believe she was removed from the home, or at least got far enough from the home where it quit connecting. So maybe they know what the distance is, and maybe that means she was 50 yards down the road or 100 yards, whatever it is. Should get a whole new system, 867-5309. The new ones, they're good. 5-minute warning. Okay, let's see if they put it. All right, there's a green here. That wasn't green a minute ago. That means something's happening here. That green dot was not there a minute ago, was it? I remember. So I think they're in here doing something. Let's see. If Cash Patel walks out, and there's a little bit more that might be happening in this. Anyways, thanks again up there, Angela. Right, that's what we already went through the whole pacemaker thing a bunch of times. Yeah, I just can't ping it. Sounds like it's very similar to the last one. Oh boy. So it's really the same kind of thing where you ask questions.
Anyone else?
But I think Cash is here because they're right on the cusp of something. Hey, thanks so much, CRR. How's it going? How you been doing? How's your place? And welcome to all the new members there. Thank you, Pollock family. And by the way, now that we've had my new screen up for a few days, you guys like it? I think it's pretty cool, you know. I can put like whatever the case is about in that lower right-hand corner. And then you have like, you know, just different things going on. But the main screen that's biggest up at there has the stuff going on that we're talking about. Now that we've seen it for a few days. Yeah, I like it too. I think it's cool. So, but when I'm streaming from over there, it's just going to be me on camera, like when I said, I'm never watching again. That video, that's what it'll be like. Very book? What does that mean? Very book. Yeah. Oh, cool. You like it? Yeah, I like it too. It's sort of, again, a little rustic look. Maybe I'll put little, like almost like it's burnt in stuff below each of these windows to say what it is. Or watching looks good. Are we all waiting for President Trump? No. Is this not playing? What's going on here?
Comfy and lifting at 60?
Wow.
I found the perfect bra, and I have to share it with my fellow seniors.
Sorry about that, guys. No. All the guys said, no problem. You know, I had this friend, we used to always type in something, but it would say, the autocorrect would say so etching. S-O space E-T-C-H-I-N-G. We don't know why. So we started just typing in, yeah, I think you went to the store so etching. Or so etching. Kind of an inside joke, I guess. Okay, I'll go back to the ad really quick. KMTX. They just show up. My wife watches my YouTube channel, so maybe she clicks on something. I don't know. That's what we set up on all of our televisions and everything. Sure. Yeah, that's it. It's my wife. Yeah, she's...
One more thing. We're gonna have a couple of things on the screen. Don't freak out about getting shots of that. We'll send that to you guys, okay? So you guys can have them looking nice, okay?
Thank you.
Yep. If anyone is not on the email list, please email me. It's gonna be pcsdpio@sheriff.pima.gov. Okay?
Come on. Why isn't there nothing over here? Oh, there we go.
Covering these microphones up.
Is this right now?
Good morning.
Be aware that we're going to try to shoot the things that are on the screen.
I will do.
Wait, this is it.
Get as many, if not all of you, an opportunity to ask a question.
Isn't it?
But last time we tried this, it was just kind of
Yeah.
chaotic, people yelling. So I'd ask that you just kind of be patient with me, pay attention to the questions asked, because sometimes you guys want to ask the same question.
I'll boost it
twice,
up.
And you're going to get the same answer. So help yourself, get what you can out of this. I'm going to give you one question and a follow-up, okay? But before we get there, I do have some comments. First of all, I want to begin by offering our condolences to our partners at the state. Department of Public Safety's tragically lost 2 members last night in a helicopter crash up in northern Arizona. So if you would keep them in your prayers, Colonel Glover and his team, I'm sure, would have greatly appreciated.
This is way ahead of Court TV. They were still walking around.
Along the same lines, I think you all saw
there goes my
last
stomach.
night. I'm trying to speak up, not yell, because apparently I talk soft. We saw last night the family. They just hurt, understandably so. And so I really want you to know this entire team here, those behind me, and our community are hurting with you. We really just want Mom back, okay? Right now, we believe Nancy is still out there. We want her home. Our department, the Sheriff's Department, along with all of our partners at the FBI, have been working around the clock. And we just want her home and find a way to get to the bottom of all of this, just as you do. But I have other partners out there who have stepped up, and you've probably noticed them in the last few days, if not the last few hours, and you're going to see more of that. I made a decision to contact our PCRIT team, and those of you not local, that's our Pima Regional Critical Incident Team. It's made up of law enforcement officers from this entire valley. Pasquayaki Police Department, Tucson Police Department, Marana Police Department, Oro Valley Police Department, Pima College Police Department, Tucson International Police Department, Sarita Police Department. There's so many of them, and they are going to help us tremendously. And that's really done because we have so much in front of us still, and we're hoping that, I know the FBI has committed a very large number of men and women to partner with us, work side by side with us. We go do an interview, they're going to be there with us. We're going to go look at some evidence or process evidence, they're going to be right there with us. We're sharing every piece of information, all the data we can to get this thing solved. And it's important that my partners in law enforcement know and understand their roles, because it is very large, complex investigation with a lot of moving parts. And we're at that phase now where sometimes we're waiting, right? We're waiting for analysis. We're waiting for lab reports. But even then, when they come back quickly, for example, some DNA, we rushed what we thought was the best target for DNA. We did a rush through and got some of that back. The results were minimal. I think you all know of the blood on the porch. That was one we did. It came back to Nancy. That's what we know. But there's still more items that have been submitted. We just haven't got them back yet. But in the meantime, we're not just sitting on our haunches waiting. We do have a number of leads coming in, and that's why we brought in the FBI for one, but PCRIT as well, to be able to get out there and handle these leads as they come in as quickly and as expeditiously as we can. And every single lead is looked at, every one of them. And so we're gearing up. You probably have some questions about what you've seen in the last couple of days. I'll gladly answer those at that time. But it really is about getting our partners out there. To be fair, when we went to that scene the first night, Saturday night, it was just us. Since then, the FBI and others have asked, can we go and see it as well? And that's what you've been seeing. But it is a very important case to not just me and my team, but this entire community, all of our law enforcement partners. Suspects. I know there's been a lot out there about suspects, and I want to be very clear. At this time, we have not identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case. We are working our best to do that. But to be clear, we have nobody of interest or any suspects that you would consider a prime suspect. We're just not there. We're not there yet. The timeline,
I don't believe that.
I think we've got it on the board, do we not? This is a timeline that we have been able to develop with some of the things that we've had processed. Various pieces of electronics that we've gathered. And you look at some of this, and I know you're going to say, well, why did it take you so long to get this to us, Sheriff? Well, because one thing, it's got to go out and be processed at different lab sites. And sometimes that stuff comes back to us, and like you, we have questions. And we say, wait a minute, what is this about? What about this? Could it be that? And so it's sent back, or it's sent somewhere else. So, and that's happening with all of the things we see. That process, that review, and that questioning of, all right, what is it we're looking at? So I'll go over it with you. You can see it on the board there, but at about 5:32 p.m., these are approximate times. 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels to her local family's home for dinner and playing games with the family, and just visiting. At 9:48 p.m., which is very consistent to what we were told by the family, that Nancy was dropped off at home, and we know that because we have a garage door open at approximately, I can't stress that enough, at approximately 9:48 p.m. At 9:50 p.m., that garage door closes. Because that time we assume that Nancy's home and probably going to bed. Sunday morning, early morning at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on a camera, but there's no video available. They had no subscription, and therefore it would rewrite itself. It just kind of loops, right, and covers up. That's what our analysis teams have told us. We're not done with that. We'll do all we can, but that's what it says. So it detects a person on camera. Could that be an animal? I imagine that's possible. We don't know that. We just have no video. But we're not giving up on that. 2:28. Nancy's pacemaker app shows that it was a disconnect from the phone. And at 11:56 a.m., the family checks on Nancy and discovers her missing. And at 12:03 p.m., 911 is called in to the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
That's a lot different timeline than
It's about approximately 10 minutes later, 12 minutes later, our patrol teams arrive. They see the scene, and we start our response with our search and rescue teams and our detectives from homicide and various units. In fact, every unit here, I think somebody questioned, how come there's an ICAC member out here or this member. Everybody in our criminal investigations team is a part of this team and part of this investigative effort. I think with that, let me make sure.
I got it all written down there. Since we didn't pan over.
I want to clarify some things that I may have already done, but yeah, I've gone over with the blood at the front door, the doorbell camera. It was removed, we know that, but we're not confirming that any cameras were smashed or destroyed around the house. I don't know where that came from, but that's something we're not confirming. The car.
Interesting.
The car that was at the home, it's just standard investigative practices. It's part of the search warrant scene, court orders. We pull it out of there and do our scene processing with the vehicle. Uber. We did speak to a driver because Nancy, we learned, had been taken the Uber to the family residence, the daughter, for dinner. And we located that driver and spoke with them and got that information. The house, you guys got this, I think, conducting follow-up. I think you said somebody had mentioned that they saw a team out there again last night or yesterday, and that's just, again, what I was talking about before. Our partners wanted a chance to see it and examine things themselves, and more importantly, it's just we're constantly following up on things and go, hey, what about this? So we want to go back and check on some things. Here's the other thing. Someone had mentioned there was forced entry. I have no clue where that comes from. We have been very consistent.
That's crazy.
We are not
See, there you go.
discussing that at all. Whether it's forced entry or not forced entry, that is something we're just not discussing. So I don't know where anybody got that information.
Interesting.
I think I am about done with my piece of this. I'm going to bring up here Heath Yankee, and I think you know him if you haven't been here. John Edwards is the assistant agent in charge with the FBI here at the Tucson office. Heath Yankee is the special agent in charge for the state of Arizona out of Phoenix, and he will come up and speak.
Thank you, Sheriff. Hello, I'm Heath Yankee, the special agent in charge of the FBI's Phoenix Division. First, I want to let the Guthrie family know that our hearts are heavy for them. After seeing your message last night, it is clear that you and your family are in pain. Please know that we are doing everything to bring your mother home. The FBI is now working this case jointly with the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and we're going to start today by announcing a $50,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie and or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance, and this will be the missing persons with the reward that will be going out. The FBI has agents, analysts, and professional staff employees working day and night with our partners at the Sheriff's Department. We have deployed additional intelligence and agents from our Phoenix office. We have brought in our critical incident response group from Quantico, Virginia. Members from our cellular analysis survey team are here, and they continue to collect and process digital information. We are actively reviewing and analyzing information from all digital sources, which includes banks, social media companies, phone companies, and any other organizations where a digital footprint could have been captured. All this information provides data points and helps put the picture together. And we will be in the community continuing to conduct a thorough investigation with our partners. You heard about us out there last night. We will be back out there today. I would ask the media, give our investigators the space to do their jobs while they're out there. Next, regarding the ransom letter. We are aware of a ransom letter that was sent to the local media and then to national outlets. As with every lead, we are taking it seriously. We are in communication with the family, and while we advise and recommend from a law enforcement perspective, any action taken on any ransom is ultimately decided by the family. Thank you to those in the community that have called in tips. For anyone out there that may have information, no matter how small you think it may be, please report it. You can do so by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or online at tips.fbi.gov. My next message is to those imposters who are trying to take advantage and profit from this situation. We will investigate and ensure you are held accountable for your actions. We have made one arrest related to an imposter ransom demand, and a complaint will be presented to a magistrate judge later today. You will get more on that from the FBI and our U.S. Attorney's Office here in Arizona when it becomes available. To anyone that may be involved, do the right thing. This is an 84-year-old grandma. This is an 84-year-old grandma that needs vital medication for her well-being. You still have the time to do the right thing before this becomes a worse, much worse scenario for you. Please return Nancy home. Thank you.
Okay, so the first person we're going to start with the list is going to be NBC National, Liz Prince. Right here.
Can you walk us through that timeline from when you believe, if you look at this here, from 147 to 228, what you think happened there, and what particular software would have detected somebody on camera?
Yeah, I don't. I know we know the software that was there. But I'm not. Sorry, I'm just not in the weeds. I know that. Think of your doorbell cameras. Somebody walks up. My wife's. If I walk up, she gets an alert, and it's usually something like that. A person's detected.
So she didn't have a subscription.
To understand them both, one, does that mean that it was about a 45-minute span that this suspect or suspects would have been on the property? And then also, does this essentially mean that you've cooperated with the tech companies and you can officially say that no surveillance video is available from the home?
We know that the tech company that we sent that camera off to, yes, they've said they've run out of ways to recover any video.
Next person's going to be ABC News, Aaron Kowalski.
Yeah. I'm sorry, was what 45 minutes?
Can we say it's about a 45-minute span that somebody would have been on the property then, from 147 to 228?
Yeah, I think those times speak for themselves, and it is about, like I say.
So 228 is when she was abducted.
I'm sorry, who was next?
Man, my original guess was 1 to 4:30 in the morning.
Thanks very much. Is there information that you are purposefully withholding because of the activity?
Yes, we're purposely withholding something. What a dumb question.
You know, this is no different than any criminal investigation that we conduct here. Law enforcement has conducted investigations since 1865 here in Pima County. We're always mindful of what it is that's in front of us and what we should release and can release. There's legal guidelines that guide us, but there's also strategy too. So, I'll leave that for you to determine.
Now that you are having such an injection of manpower from the
Notice they didn't.
critical incident team and the FBI, we just slow to bring that in at the outset. Should all of these resources get brought to bear sooner?
I guess that it's Monday morning quarterbacking. I do it all the time, so you have the opportunity to do it for me. I'll take that hit.
CBS News, Jonathan Migliotti.
Sheriff over here, has there been any proof of life, and has there been any signs of life?
I'm going to, anything to deal with the ransom notes and that, I would defer to the FBI, but no, to my knowledge, we're still looking for Nancy.
And for my follow-up question, if I can speak
so
to
that
the special agent,
he didn't.
what was it about this apparent ransom note that now 3 days on, you first haven't been able to validate, and second, it warranted informing the Guthries of its existence?
So the ransom note that was sent out there,
That was a good
obviously
question.
every lead in this case we are taking extremely serious.
But not
given
everyone is presented to the family. Why this one?
because this was the ransom that came in and it had facts associated with a deadline, with a a monetary value they were asking for. So at that point,
what were some of those facts, if you can, because there's been a lot of speculation, as you know, if you could set the record straight.
yeah, the ransom itself, one talked about an Apple Watch and one talked about a floodlight. We're not going to go into specifics. It's very important that we keep this investigation moving forward, and we don't want to put more facts out there that others then can use
Apple Watch
to
was
try to profit from this.
something in the media.
Next CNN, next Ed Lavandera.
Hey, Agent, I want to follow up with you real quick on that. There have been, as far as we know, I think 3 ransom notes so far, 1 arrest. Are they all different, or do you think there's different authors behind all of them, or?
So the one that went to the media is the one we were currently investigating and working on. The imposter that I talked about, where an arrest was made early this morning. That's
one of them seems legit, like we were saying.
We believe there's no evidence to connect this to Nancy's case. It was someone that was trying to profit from it, a total imposter.
And Sheriff, you started off the press conference by saying you believe that Nancy is still out there. Do you have reason to believe that she's still out there alive, or are you fearful of the worst case scenario here, that she won't be found alive?
Well, I'm certainly fearful of that. I think we all are. But it is we operate from a position that until we know she's out there, she's alive, and we're going to continue thinking that way until we find her.
Fox Digital, Mike Reese.
Yeah, sir. Mike Ruiz from Fox Digital. Sheriff, you said you've identified no suspects. Have you ruled out anyone she was with on Saturday night?
You know, we've talked to so many. I'm sure that my investigators have feelings about this one's clear or this one isn't. But no, I wouldn't say anybody's ruled out yet, because what if I rule you out and then later I learn something else? No.
So my follow-up, you mentioned that you don't know where the reporting of a forced entry came from. Do we know how whoever did this got into her house?
That I would not discuss with you anyway.
Right, because that would only the killer would know, or just the kidnapper. Hey, thanks, Bella.
Submitting the DNA for investigative genealogical investigation relative to maybe hitting a relative, somebody if you will.
I would say the DNA aspect.
Yeah, we were saying
is
that yesterday
being handled by
about
the
the
Pima
note.
County Sheriff's Department right now. However, should we get to that point, yes, that would be an option for the FBI to assist.
And a quick follow-up, does the ransom note that you're working establish any communication protocols in it?
No, it does not. And that is what I think is important, that if someone has Nancy and is demanding the ransom, that there is communication with the family. We talked about has been no proof of life, and there was no other demands within that letter. So they're still waiting for communication.
ABC affiliate, Ashley Holden.
Right here, Ashley Holden.
Well, why wouldn't you just leave her there then, SBA?
Disconnected. Do you believe that camera was taken?
We do not have it in our possession. We've not located it.
And then a follow-up. I know that we've been hearing a lot about ransom notes. We were also hearing in that video that was put out by the Guthrie siblings, and I don't know if this is a question for the FBI or yourself, but the challenges of seeing an image and knowing that it's real. Could one of you address that? Has the family received correspondence, any images, videos?
So we're not going to go into facts regarding this part of the investigation. I think part of that message was with AI these days.
That's what we've been saying,
make
Mike, the whole
videos that
time.
appear to be very real. So we can't just take a video and trust that is a proof of life these days because of the advancements in AI and trying to actually get a proof of life that we can verify. But we're not going to go into anything the family may or may not have received.
KOLD, Catherine Patterson.
So in regards to a timeline on that ransom note, is that being an impact in your investigation? Are we nearing that timeline?
I'm sorry, one more time.
So in regards to the timeline in the ransom note, are we nearing that timeline? And is that playing a part in the investigation?
We're not going to go again into specifics of that part of the investigation with the ransom note, other than what we've put out there. We've been transparent. We're talking about we are working that ransom demand, but we don't want to go anything further than that could could impact any opportunities. So thank you.
Is there any additional physical evidence at the crime scene other than the technology that you guys are using for this timeline? Is there anything else that's helping you guys other than really the technology?
Well, I think I said on day one is that it's technology that's going to really help us solve this case. But no, I mean, you know, we did do a process of that scene for biological evidence, so we're still hopeful that maybe something will show up there as well.
Arizona Republic, Richard Relas.
Agent Yankee? Yes. We saw on the scene, I believe it was you, taking a tripod into the home of the sister. How involved was the FBI, if at all, in creating the video? Any advice for the family on what to say?
I would say we use our expertise and provide consultation and advice anytime a family would ask for our advice on a kidnapping. It's ultimately
that's
the
nothing to
family's
do with
decision of what
Savannah's
they put out
Olympic
and
coverage.
any messages they put
Okay.
out. But we were, obviously, you're all documenting every move we make. We were there last night in talking with the family. But every decision is theirs.
Right, that was a tripod and a ring light. And Sheriff Manos, you said the blood was found on the porch and on the front stoop. Just wanted to verify that.
I say porch, front stoop. It's all in that same general area by the front door.
Front of the house.
Front door, yes.
What, given her medical condition and the fact that it was her blood, as you say, what would her medical condition do with her recovery if she indeed bled out or was bleeding when she left the house?
Well, again, I've got to be careful for HIPAA, but I would say this. We know she is in need of medication.
Yeah, we said that already, SBA.
And we also know that
We already said that they need a body
4 or 5
for
and
life
still
insurance.
we don't know that she's getting her medication.
I think this might be a
that could in itself prove fatal.
an abduction ransom for hire type situation.
I'll get that for you.
Craig?
Okay, guys, Athena.
Oh.
That's why they're using Bitcoin.
Have you been in communication with anyone who you believe could be the kidnapper?
You know, it goes back to what we talked about. Nobody's eliminated, but we just really don't have enough to say, this is our suspect, this is our guy, we know, or our gal. We just don't know that. And it's really kind of reckless to report that someone is a suspect when they could very well be a victim. It just, I bring to you, to the media, I plead with you to be careful of what it is we put out there, because we don't have anybody here listed as a suspect, and you could actually be doing some.
But why
some
carry her
damage
out
to
if
the
you don't need
case.
to?
But you can do some damage to that individual too. This is social media is kind of an ugly world sometimes.
And how far out have you expanded your search, you say?
You know, I would tell you this, look, nothing's off the table. If we get a lead that there's somebody, hey, you've got this over here or over here, we're going. And that will expand and expand and expand. I think the FBI, with their billboards, they're now planning to put those up at every state around here, at all of our neighboring states. So, we use you, the national media, the FBI with their national outreach, to affect that for us. But as far as the actual investigation, naturally the scene is the primary, and we just keep spreading it out as we get more and more leads.
Court TV, Cody Thomas.
Right here, Sheriff.
Cody.
Actually, my question is for Agent Yankee. You know, we saw Savannah Guthrie and her sibling family put out that video last night on Instagram addressing, you know, the tragedy that it is, but also addressing the ransom letter saying they're ready to talk. My question is, did the FBI or any other agency help them craft that message to put out on social media?
Like I said to the previous question, we have an expertise when it comes to kidnappings. And when families want advice, consultation, expertise, we will provide that. But the ultimate decisions on what they say and how they put that out rests with the family itself.
I'm sure you suggest, well, that's a...
I know we haven't identified one, but what type of suspect or suspects do we think we're dealing with here?
At this time, like the sheriff has said, there is no primary suspect identified.
You have a profile?
It could run the gamut.
KPNX, Troy Hayden.
Are you actively investigating the son-in-law in this case.
Troy Hayden.
Earlier this week, and you refuted that. You said you haven't eliminated everybody.
Jody
Have you
Arias.
eliminated him or come close to it, or are you actually looking at him?
We're actively looking at everybody we come across in this case. Everybody. We would be irresponsible if we didn't talk to everybody. The Uber driver, the gardener, the pool person, whoever, everybody. It's so cliche, but everybody's still a suspect in our eyes. That's just how we look at things and think as cops. Does that mean we have a prime suspect? No, and the family's been very cooperative. They've done everything we've asked of them, and we want that relationship to continue. And sometimes people can be mean out there, and that can really harm us and harm our efforts.
Did you find blood anywhere else in the home besides the porch?
The only DNA evidence we've got back is on the porch. We prioritize things and we rush things, and those items we put out to a lab to rush it. And even then, it's 2 or 3, 4 days. The other items could take 10 days, 20 days, but we saw the importance of that blood. It came back to Nancy.
So it was only there, it wasn't anywhere else in the house?
I don't know that. We processed the house for biological evidence, and we've not gotten anything back.
Newsmax, Sarah Williamson.
Hi there. My question is just piggybacking off our colleagues here about how far this search has gone. When it comes to doorbell cameras, you say technology plays a critical role in this. Have you been actively door knocking the neighbours and businesses and collecting those doorbell cameras? And is there anything that has come up there, and how far is that?
I can't tell you whether things have come up or not, but we have door-to-door. I think we're still doing door-to-door, not just in that neighborhood, but other neighborhoods. Just as leads come in and take us somewhere, we're going to do those things.
Okay, and just to follow up as well in regards to the video that was released by Nancy Guthrie's children last night, just to clarify, that was not coordinated with any law enforcement beforehand, and that you hadn't seen that video before it was released?
The FBI is handling all things with the ransom.
I think the answer was yes, we were there. The media was there. We can help coordinate, provide that consultation, but that is the family's decision of what they film and what they put out.
Fox 10, Justin Loom.
Agent Yankee, this one's for you. Following up on that video that was released yesterday, you said, ultimately any further action is decided on by the family. Since then, have they expressed any more interest in more efforts to try and get in contact with who is behind the ransom letter? And do you have a crisis or any sort of hostage negotiator with your team for that type of situation if it moves forward?
So the two parts to that question I think it's pretty clear. The family wants to be contacted. They know time is of the essence. And if those that may have Nancy are watching this, the family is ready to talk, get proof of life, because there has been no contact after that ransom note went to the media. For your second question, yes, we have crisis negotiators. That is part of our team here locally, along with the personnel we brought in from Quantico, and they will be part of it. But we're not going to go beyond that of any specifics.
Sheriff Nanos, taking down the crime scene perimeter after Monday's investigation and really opening access to that property to everyone else, was that something you would do differently looking back, knowing that federal authorities also conducted a search yesterday? Would you have kept that perimeter up, knowing that?
Monday morning quarterback, I probably would have, but I'll say this. We processed the scene. We got what we thought was complete. My team did that. I have to have all the faith and trust in their abilities and their skills, and I think they went through that pretty well. But because another agency now steps in and wants to assist, we're just like with you, we're an open book. Absolutely. How can we help? One of the things people don't see, I heard your question about, and we left and then others could walk up. When we process a scene and we're done, we return that scene to in this case, the homeowners, the family. And we don't just go march back in there. We call the family again and get permissions to go back to the home. So, yeah, there's... Again, Monday morning quarterback, absolutely. I probably could have held off on that. We knew that the FBI, we've worked with them before in a lot of cases, and we felt like they could be of help in this with particularly the forensic analysis we use in a number of things. But we, at the start of this thing, we weren't sure what we had, and as the day progressed, we realized that there could be more to this, and we started in that. Remember, it was a search and rescue mission the first few hours, and we transitioned that over to a criminal investigation. With that, brought in our partners from the FBI and others.
Have you heard from President Trump
Claudia
on resources?
Univision, Claudia
I was
Ramos.
actually going to ask about that. We saw the message yesterday.
Are you next?
Claudia, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Univision. Following up on that, we saw the message from the president yesterday. Have you personally received any communication from him or
No, and I wouldn't expect that. He too is a busy man, right? And I would say this: we thank him for him opening up his entire law enforcement team, as was put out yesterday, and we know, I know my local reporters here know we've always worked well with all of our partners in law enforcement. Maybe it's something unique to Southern Arizona, and the rest of the country doesn't see that, but this isn't new for us. We've done this. Gabby Giffords, I headed up that investigation many years ago, and we worked side by side. Could not have got things done if we weren't with the FBI on that.
And just the other question, this being a border state, have you guys had any communication with Mexican authorities?
I have not. I work closely with the Mexican consulate, as other consulates, being the sheriff.
Yeah, but why not,
but
though?
No, I've not.
If you don't know who this is.
Arizona Univision, Madres.
Hi, Sheriff. My question is, do you know, it's a two-part question, do you know what medication Nancy uses? And have you checked the local pharmacy?
Why not say it so they can get it for her?
Per se, this medication to keep her alive, to keep her healthy, while still look for her.
So we do know what medications, and we have contacted pharmacies. Probably need to go back to just make sure that they didn't. Maybe we contacted them early on. I know that night, Saturday night, Sunday morning. I know we were doing all the hospital checks, and that check was continuous every hour, going back out and physically in person. Deputies were going to each local area hospital and asking them to check their logs.
My second question here is, I know you're looking for her in Pima County. Are you looking for her across the state now? And if so, if there's a particular area that you're focusing on right now?
Well, we're looking for her everywhere, right? The FBI just made an arrest on a tip that we got that we thought there could be something here. There's it's statewide. The billboards are going to be out there across the country. We take leads from everywhere, and where those leads take us, we'll get there.
MS now, Alex Tabet.
Agent Yankee, do you have any reason to believe that Nancy Guthrie may be being held outside of the country? Is that something that you've ruled out at this point?
We don't have any of that information. We haven't ruled anything out. Like the sheriff said, we will follow the facts wherever they take us, whether it is outside of the state of Arizona or over the border. We will follow the facts and go there, but we have no indication anything over the Mexican border.
And you mentioned on the ransom notes there were details about the Apple Watch and the floodlight.
Yep.
The ransom notes that were sent out to TMZ, KGUN, and KOLD, are they all the same ransom note? Do they contain the same details in each of those individual ransom notes?
The ones that I am tracking and aware of were the same. That went to TMZ also.
News Nation, Brian Enton.
Agent Yankee, sorry, over here.
Yes.
When did the first ransom note arrive? And the reason I ask is because the Apple Watch has been in the news and on social media, and you could see like floodlights on video. So was it before those things were out in the world?
I don't have the specific time frame
that's
as
what
I
I
said
said
here
earlier.
today of what time it came in, but that you are right. Anyone could see a floodlight hanging down, could have seen some of those things. The watch has been talked about, so that timing is tricky, but that's why we're taking it serious no matter what and following the leads on that. But I don't have the time.
The Apple Watch has been out
frame
since
that
the beginning.
First note came in
Remember?
as I sit here today. Thank you.
And my follow-up is for the sheriff. In the house, were there any signs that someone tried to clean up or maybe destroy evidence?
I can't talk about the crime scene,
Right.
so I'll give you another shot, another question.
My other question is, I heard the agents say that it was a joint investigation now. At the other press conference, the FBI said they were assisting. Is it joint now? I mean, are both agencies in charge now?
Look, there's no ego here. We in this part of the country, we'll take anybody's help. It's not about, it's not about who's in charge. From day one, when we contacted the FBI, they were that gracious to say, whatever you need. And so that's really it. And they're great partners, just as my other local law enforcement brethren. I didn't even have to ask. That's what's really amazing. I haven't had to call anybody. They've called me. Sheriff, what do you need?
Arizona's family, Brianna Whitney.
Sure. I know you had the crime scene process. You said you went back out there. Your partners wanted to see it. But you guys were actively taking out evidence yesterday. Was there something you missed the first time, or did you get a new piece of information that led you to believe you needed to go back out and take more than you had that first day?
You know, I know that we get information that will come, and this is just any crime scene that we look at. We may go out to a crime scene and think we've got it all, go analyze the evidence, and something comes back and says, hey, did you check this? We're not going to just say, oops, and not go. Absolutely. In this instance, it really was the FBI just wanted to go, hey, can we take a look at it?
Are you worried about that being contaminated at all because there was people in that?
You know, I'll let the courts worry about that. We will certainly be open to the courts of anything that's been removed from that house, and we follow the rules of laws. We get court orders and go back and reapply for another warrant if need be. All of those things we're very careful of.
Arizona Public Media, Lynn Boyd.
Ellen Boyd over here. In that news release yesterday, there was a report of a trespasser. Has the Guthrie family dealt with any incidents, threats, whether that's trespassing, social media threats, anything of that nature?
I am not aware of any of that. I know that we, as with any case, again, we would look at all of the background of calls to those families or their residents and see if there's anything there, or even in that neighborhood. Those things have been looked at. I don't know of anything that was reported in even the last 30 days or 60 days. Nobody's come to me and said, hey, next door you had a burglary.
Follow up for the neighborhood where Nancy's home is. Can you give any more details on that trespassing incident?
I don't have them.
Telemundo, Jesus Gonzalez.
It's for the FBI. I just have a question. Can we confirm if the FBI director is coming for the investigation?
Yes, Director Patel is being briefed several times a day on this investigation back in D.C. He does have a trip scheduled to Tucson that was pre-scheduled before this, but he is receiving consistent and constant updates from our team here.
He's coming today?
He is not coming today.
And before you go to the next one, I know you may have had a follow-up question, but I think I overstepped you. So if you wanted to ask, I'll give you that opportunity.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you. At what point do you deem the ransom note not credible if there is no communication that follows up since you received it? Like, what's that timeline where you say, no proof of life, there's no more, this isn't credible?
I think we start to look at what the deadlines were in the note. First, I think, was 5 o'clock today, and then it had a second deadline after that. So we are continuing. In a normal kidnapping case, there would be contact by now, trying to discuss that. But those are the time frames we are looking at as we move forward.
Are you able to say that second deadline that was given?
I don't have that with me right now. So thank you.
Sorry about that. Entertainment Tonight, Denny Directo.
Yes, my question actually is for Agent Yankee. There was a report that said the ransom came from an email that the FBI was actually looking into that IP address. Any update on that?
Nothing that I can release. Thank you.
And then also, there's also conflicting reports about who was the last person to actually see Nancy and drive her home. We know she took an Uber to Annie's house, but can you confirm whether it was Annie or her son-in-law Tommaso who took her home that night?
I think the timeline that the sheriff provided was a family member, but
just family. We're going to go with family.
Reck TV, Vandry, Piera.
Sure. We are for national, so we're not familiar with the area, so we think that is a remote area. So my question is, why is it so hard to track a car or something suspicious that have passed through the area at that time? How difficult it is? Because probably cameras around or something.
Yeah, you're talking about the challenges we face in some of being in a rural area like this. You know, those are challenges we face all the time. We'd love it to have all the cameras in what we would consider a more urban nature type area. But once you get out into the community, that's not the only part of Tucson that is that way. And we just find ways to overcome those challenges. We don't just disregard it. We still look at ways to find for example, ring cameras that might catch just a piece of something. It goes by, it doesn't catch the whole car. Those kinds of things.
That's what I was saying yesterday.
We still go out.
But not at least a car that came out at that night.
I
Far
can't.
away, I mean, like miles from the house.
We have cameras all over, and those things are being reviewed.
Arizona Republic, Richard Reynolds.
I'm a different person, let's pretend.
Did he get two?
It's the second one.
Was that you?
Oh, sorry.
No.
We all right. Thank you guys for keeping us honest. No, you already asked your question, so we're going to go to the New York Times with Reese. And I apologize for getting your name wrong here, Reese. Dewalt?
This is at least better.
Hi.
The 212, the camera that detected movement at 212, was that a different camera than the one that was disconnected at 147, and where was it pointed?
We don't know that. We don't.
That's
we
exactly
don't
what
know
I
which
typed
camera
above, you
that
guys.
was.
Did you see that?
When we did the software, it just told us that a person was detected. But I'm unaware of
Right
which
here.
camera that
Boom.
was.
See that?
Cameras and you're not sure.
Sure. There were multiple cameras at the home.
Okay. And is there a possibility that this is not a ransom situation? And if so, what else could it be?
Your guess is as good as mine. I would say absolutely there's a possibility that this is nothing to do with the kidnapping. But we cover all angles. We're not going to dismiss something until we actually know for a fact that it's one way or the other.
People Magazine, we have Danielle Walker.
So I wanted a little more clarity to follow up on his. Is there anything more you can say? Was this actually targeted or not? Do you have any?
That's why we have the FBI to look at those areas where there may have been a target. Maybe it is a kidnapping. But no, we don't have anything to rule that out or to say it is.
And as far as the ransom notes, there was a part in there about Bitcoin. Are you looking into that now, investigating?
I just know how to track it.
Yes, that's part of the investigation.
Can you go and elaborate any further if you found anything or if there's any ties or any suspects tied to that Bitcoin?
There is not at this time.
Associated Press, Joe.
Of course not.
Hi, Sheriff. Just to follow up to
You're Joe?
I'm sorry.
You're Joe?
Goldendera.
Oh, I thought you said Joe. Okay.
Just to follow up to a prior question,
Jesus.
you had said early in the investigation that authorities don't believe Nancy Guthrie was targeted. Why don't authorities think that Nancy Guthrie was targeted?
Who said that? Who said they didn't
You had
think
said
she?
that early in the investigation.
Boy, if I said I absolutely misspoke. I've never thought she was or wasn't targeted. We've always believed that is certainly a possibility. I mean, you'd be silly not to think that. Somebody disappears in the middle of the night out of their home. You can understand where I'm coming from. But no, if I said that, obviously I misspoke or maybe somebody misheard me. But I've never believed that she was or was not a target.
Is there anything more specific you can say about what you believe the motive to be for this kidnapping at this time?
Motive's always going to be a question, and we'll know more as we go what that motive is. But right now, my guesswork is as good as yours.
And then we also have, the final one will be from KBOA here in Tucson, Monica Garcia.
Okay, so let's talk about that 5 p.m. Did you say 5 p.m. deadline today? Is that the deadline? Oh, maybe that's for the FBI.
Yes.
Can you just give us some sound on that? Because that's a big deal. That's within hours about that 5 p.m. deadline per the ransom note.
And then what's supposed to happen after that?
Give him a minute. He's reading something.
So the ransom note that was distributed to the media did make a demand for 5 p.m. today, and if a transfer wasn't made, then I think a second demand was for next Monday. We're not going to go beyond that, but that was the ransom note the media received.
Did it indicate what would happen if they didn't
This is
meet that
freaking nuts.
We're not going to go into those specifics. Thank you.
5 p.m. Eastern, I'm sorry, I know it's not Arizona. It's 5 p.m.
I don't.
It's 5 p.m.
And then, sorry about that. Inside Edition, Jim Ray.
Special Agent Yonke, given the fact that the FBI participated in the creation of this family video, does that suggest your belief that the author or authors of that ransom note, in fact, have Nancy Guthrie?
Again, we're taking the ransom note serious, and we are following that part of the investigation.
And does the fact that there is a ransom note suggest to you that Nancy Guthrie was taken specifically because she's Savannah's mom?
There's nothing to indicate that.
Thank you guys so much for all of your questions.
Thank
The
you.
sheriff does have just one more note about what happens next year, or what doesn't happen next.
Well, it's what happens for us is we're going to continue working. For you though, I hope this worked out well for you. But right now, I have no plans to schedule any further press conferences unless we have some real evidence or something.
They said he was going to do one every
bring
2
up
days.
to you.
So now
It's pretty pointless to just keep hounding the same things over and over. And as Special Agent in Charge, Yonke said, please give us some space, and that's not just physical space. Give us some space, give my team some time, because these things do take time, and they are difficult. And everybody out there is really working hard. And mistakes are going to be made, and if I made them, mea culpa. It won't be the first mistake I've ever made, but more important than me is we want Nancy back. That's the key. Okay? So thank you very much, and thank you for your concern in this.
Thank you.
If you're looking for the other person that was up here, it was John Edwards, JONEDWARDS, Assistant Special Agent in Charge.
Thank you.
Yep, yep, no problem.
I was down at the back of maybe not now.
Yeah, that one reporter was from Jody Arias.
By the way, I'm still
Oh, hey, that's
I assume I'll see you at the house soon.
Yeah,
I'll catch up with no, my violence Rebecca's been
Are you staff?
No, I'm a local freelancer.
Are you sorry? Is there a WhatsApp? Well, I'll give you my card.
Yeah, give me your card and I'll text you. These are nice pictures.
Should I keep playing this? Sheriff just sort of blends in. He doesn't walk off like, you know. I don't know, it's pretty weird. Anyways, I got to turn the audio back down again. So this is the normal audio level here. I had to boost it up 17 decibels, which is ridiculous. So hopefully you guys were able to hear that. I think this was a valuable press conference. I don't think it was a waste of time at all. And I got us a whole bunch of new notes and things to look at. All right, you guys. We'll try one last push in here. See if you guys can help support the channel before I have to take off here. If we get another 11 memberships or so, we'd be sort of like you know, almost at a, well, it'd be still $50 short of like the minimum goal that we have. So it'd be kind of nice to make it on the day that I was supposed to be taking off. Let's see. So what we got from the press conference was that they, now we already knew there's blood in the house, blood outside the front door. I believe it's expirated blood. Nobody seems to ever ask those kind of questions. It's pretty obvious. Ring door bell was removed, I think. I mean, we don't know that now. And the cameras don't store information. There's blood at the front door, tiles, and that blood was tested, and that was Nancy's. They didn't test, apparently, the blood inside. I wonder if they tested the blood outside the front door because they think that Nancy was taken out the back, so why would there be blood there? I don't know. I don't know what they think. The back door, apparently, though, they didn't say it here, but was wide open, according to Ashley Banfield's source. Yeah, I was going over that, 8675309. That's what I'm doing right now. Then it said, so there's blood at the front door, and it says at 5:32 p.m. yesterday, Nancy took an Uber driver, or an Uber to, and using an Uber driver, so took it over to Annie's house, Annie and Tomas's house, to play, you know, eat dinner and play like mahjong, etc., right? Well, you don't have to say you're sorry. I was just letting you know that that's what I was going over. Playing mahjong, etc. And so that was at 5:32 p.m. They interviewed the Uber driver as well, just like in the Idaho 4 case. And then 9:48 p.m., Nancy's dropped off at the home, and they know this because there's actually a time associated with the garage door opening. So apparently she gets dropped off at the garage door, which is sort of interesting, right? I mean, why wouldn't you just drive around the front and she goes through the front? I don't know. Anyways, the garage door opens at 9:48. Then the garage door shuts again at 9:50. Now, I guess technically nobody knows if that's really what happened. I mean, did somebody pull into the garage at 9:50? And then there was stuff going on in the house from 9:50 all the way up until 1:47 when one of the Ring doorbell cameras disconnects. And then at 2:12 a.m., software detects a person. I mean, see, what I didn't understand is they said at 1:47 the Ring a.m. the doorbell camera disconnects from, it gets disconnected. And then at 2:12 a.m., software detects a person or movement. But, I mean, if you disconnected the camera, how could software detect anything? I mean, there's supposed to be a camera for software to detect something. So I don't know. That's why I needed that more clarification. They didn't seem to provide it. But 2:12 a.m., software detects a person or movement on camera, but there was no subscription, so the camera wrote over the video, apparently. Tech company can't find any video, so they sent, you know, the text that they have, they couldn't find anything. Yeah, she took an Uber over to, I don't know why they didn't just go pick her up. She's 2 miles away, you know. I don't know. It gives people a feeling of self-reliance, you know, when you take an Uber. My parents are just learning. We had to take the car from, you know, not take it, but, you know, we said, Dad, you shouldn't be driving, and we have his keys, and we're just teaching him how to use, like, Uber and stuff like that, and they find it pretty cool. Like, wow, hey, it shows up in, like, 2 minutes, and you go somewhere, and, you know, so it gives them self-reliance, like, and so maybe that's, I mean, she has a car, but maybe she doesn't feel safe driving it, given her condition. So, you know, you get an Uber driver, they drive you over there. But I would wonder why you wouldn't just have Annie or somebody go pick her up since she's there. But again, like I was saying, maybe give her a sense of, I can do this on my own type of thing. Let's see. But any chance we can get some channel memberships? Look at all the white names up in there. And when by white, I mean the color of your the names. We could get some of these people memberships. That'd be great. Thank you. And so 212. Yeah, again, I said these. So 147, Ring doorbell. The doorbell camera is disconnect. So maybe that's the one in the front. I don't know. And then it says at 212, software detects a person or movement on camera. You know, but there's no subscription, so the video just kept writing over itself. We know, let's hold on a second. We know the house was secluded. No, it wasn't secluded. If any red light cams or street cams on the road leaving the area going to the main road, it's not really secluded. Let me ask you guys something. Do you guys consider this secluded merely because there's trees? I mean, for me, this is pretty. Each house has like an acre, but you know, the neighbor's right there and the neighbor's right there. I just think it's. I love, huh? Yeah, see that? On the road, and we've checked, and by the way, if there's no street lights, we said this before any of the people that were even out there, you know, so the people there going, ooh, look, and everybody said, did you hear what Enton said? There was no street. Yeah, we already knew because we were able to walk around, and I mean, on Street View, look, there's no street lights anywhere. You see this? And all of the houses are back off, and there's so many bushes out here that even if you have a surveillance camera, you might pick up the light of a vehicle or a portion of a vehicle, just like I said yesterday, and that's what was reiterated in the press conference, that you could probably see what they want is probably, I would say, between 1:30 and 2:45 in the morning, any movement at all in this area of lights on the streets picked up on any camera at all, okay? Thank you. Freak is me. Hey, you're a freak. All right. Yeah, it's not really, it's when you, I guess, you know, I'm not sure if secluded is the right word. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I mean, I guess each house has their own sort of feel of seclusion because of the bush and so forth around, but I don't consider that secluded. I would think secluded would be something, you know, if you lived you know, maybe right there or something, right on the edge of something. All right, so we had, I'll just put this on the screen right there. So it was 9:48. Nancy dropped off at home because of the garage door, and then 9:50 the garage door shuts, and then about, I don't know, what is that? 4 hours later, the doorbell camera is disconnected, and then at 2:12, somehow software detects a person or movement on camera. So that means a camera was still working, and it detected movement. However, it rode over. So that, it's like that's a different camera, I think. So it rode over something. So maybe they didn't even notice this camera in there. I guess there was multiple cameras. And then at 2:28 a.m., that's when her pacemaker disconnects from the network. So that's likely the time she's just far enough away from the home where it doesn't connect anymore. And then at 11:56 a.m., the family arrives at Nancy's home in the morning. And they didn't really say why at that point. But it changes a lot here. There isn't this hour gap anymore. They got there at 11:56. And 7 minutes later called police. I think that's totally reasonable now, not the hour before. Remember how it was like an hour originally? It was 11:10 to whatever, you know? And then 12:03, the family calls police, and then 12:15, patrol arrives at the scene. Okay? So that all seems reasonable here, the timing. So a lot of stuff, that's all different than what we've seen in the media. Remember, it was 11:10. They showed up over there, and then 12:20 or so, they called police, or 12:15 they called them. But that's not, this is the accurate information here. Yeah, it does look like a safe place to live. Yeah, I always blame, it's the perpetrators. Yeah, that's what I always think is funny in cases where you have somebody is abducted, like a sex worker, for example. When they're abducted, it's not their fault they were abducted or killed by somebody. They were killed because there's a nut job out there, and that's the person everybody should focus in on. You know, instead, the nut jobs on social media, the people who think they're so much better than everybody else, will always go, "Hey, if she wasn't a sex worker, she'd still be alive, and if and they just go on and on and on about that, and it's just, why don't you shut the hell up, okay? Like in the Delphi case, the two girls go to the bridge. Why would anybody let them go to the bridge? Who cares, okay? The question is why was there a psycho waiting, following the girls out there that day, okay? That's the answer. Okay? That's the question you should be asking. But you get these people that want to let everybody know how they are so much better than everybody, and how they wouldn't have done this and they wouldn't have done that, because, man, they are so much more in touch with reality. It's virtue signaling, basically. You know, it's okay to have the question in your mind, question things like, were they always allowed to go out there, or something probative, like you're trying to figure out like how it all went together. But the question, why were they allowed to go out there, stuff like that, just go somewhere else for that. I really don't have time for it. So anyways, that was the press conference. And it looks like they checked hospitals. Apparently, maybe they looked into pharmacies to see if anybody has ordered that particular medicine. The ransom note mentioned Apple Watch and floodlights. And then, I was thinking the same thing. I think I said it in the chat regarding what Brian Enton asked was, see, the Apple Watch information was already out there. I believe before those ransom notes were sent, because remember the 2 a.m. And that's why it's so important in cases like this for a sheriff not to blab out so much information, and for people to leak information, because the leaked information coming from credible sources is what a person who's trying to fake law enforcement. And I think didn't I say yesterday, it's really turned out to be exactly what we were saying. That they feel like the ransom that they request they got is valid and real, but now they want to verify if it's real or not. Proof of life. They need something. And so they're waiting to see if they can get that in between the deadlines. And by the way, how do you have two deadlines? Deadline's 5 o'clock. Our next one is, when is it end? You just keep saying, well, the one after that is on. Yeah, let's see. And then ransom deadline today at 5 p.m. and then also Monday. And by the way, the NBA trade deadline's at 5 p.m. today. Wow, it must be connected. And Monday, don't know what time that is. Hey, thank you, Roman Katzman. It'd be cool if we could get if we can get 7 channel memberships gifted. That would be great. Hope you have a safe trip and a good time. Yeah, me too. It's hard to have it. You know what? I found that I don't have as good a time when I'm working on a case and there's all this stuff coming out. because every second I'm just thinking about, man, you know, it's just weird, you know. A vehicle around 2 a.m. mark. Yeah. My original, I kept telling people at the very beginning that this occurred probably between 1 and 4:30 in the morning, because that's just makes sense. Who's going to go abduct somebody at 9, right when she got home? That doesn't make any sense at all. You know, there's people awake, just right there, right next to you there, and you know, And in fact, on the show, I said 2 o'clock is sort of like the dark 30, right around that time. And then, so this turns out it's like 2:28 is when she was removed from the home. And what they need to do is every single Ring doorbell camera that has movement on it from, I would say, from I'd say 1 in the morning until 3 o'clock in the morning, 1 to 3, get any movement on any camera during that time, because 2:28 it's disconnected, so it could mean that they're already moving down the street. So you want to include like another half hour there, just to have a range, and then have a range. 1:47 is when the doorbell camera disconnects. So I would say that, you know, it's obviously they were in the house for quite a while. You know, 1:47 when the camera disconnects, obviously something's happening right then. 2:28 is when her pacemaker disconnects from the network. So let's say that means they at least left the home at 2:20 at the earliest. So you're talking about 33 minutes inside that house minimum, I would say. And at the most, they were in that house for like 42 minutes. So that's pretty interesting, right? I wonder what they were doing for so much time in there. Why wouldn't you just go in and get out? I mean, that actually adds a little bit of layer to all this. Why would you go into the house and be in there that long? It doesn't take long to disconnect a camera and abduct her. So I think that sort of, yeah, that is interesting, right? I mean, you would think it would be doorbell camera 1:47, and then her, you know, like 2:05 is when her phone, her pacemaker disconnects, you know, like they're out of there. Instead, it's way later, 2:28. I wouldn't say there's no chance it's a kidnapping. That's kind of a, you know, that's not an accurate statement, that there's no chance. You know, she could have been hit in the nose and had a bloody nose and coughed up blood right there in the front steps. All right. Anyways, thanks everybody. Appreciate you guys being here, and thank you to, let's see, Kelly Snyder gifted a membership. Then we had Susie Clue. Then Paul Ayers. Hey, Kimmers. Wow, look at that. Thank you. That was almost got those 2 more we'd have got there. Hey, thanks a lot, man. That was very cool. Very kind of you. Yeah, after I read these off, I'll go over the timeline one last time. All right. So then we got Susie Clue, then Paul Ayers, Nina User, SBA 8710, Eagle, Stars and Stripes. They definitely didn't, you know, it was interesting how they tried to avoid talking about Annie's husband a little bit. You know, and that was something, you know, Ashley Banfield has a source high up in law enforcement that is very connected to the case. And that person told her that they are, you know, like heavily looking into the possibility of him being a suspect. And then Annabelle KMTX SBA again, and 8675309 buying me a road trip Snickers, and then Deco Trash, and then Samantha BB became a new member, then Angela King, and then CRR gifted 5. Then we had Pollock family, thank you, and September 9, and then Bella X Strange gifted 1, and then Film Chick super chat, Kimmers, Tony Morrow, like Tony Morrow, like tomorrow, Lisa V, Tony Morrow, I guess, and then Freak is me, then Roman Katzman, Roman Katzman, and Kimmers. Thank you. Yeah, so close. All right, let's see. So the timeline again is, so again, all the blood that was found at the front door. Do I have that over here? No, I don't have that. Yeah, so the blood that was found at the front door, I can see that there's expirated blood in there. It's low to the ground, but that all turns out to be Nancy's. At 5:32 p.m., Nancy goes to Annie's house. They said family member, but that's kind of obvious, right? For dinner and games, and took an Uber driver to the house. They actually interviewed the Uber driver, and they have the precise time. Then at 9:48 p.m., Nancy's dropped off at home. According to the garage door, must be digital and has a signature at 9:48 p.m. At 9:50 p.m., the garage door closes. And she's dropped off by a family member. Now, we've seen reports that the family member who dropped her off is actually the husband of Annie. Okay? We saw that. It was in one of the articles yesterday. And then the garage door shuts at 9:50. And, it's interesting. I think she was just dropped off. Okay? And then at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. So something happened later. I think if it was, let's say the husband of Annie went into the house, why would you hang out in there and then, at 1:47 you turn off the camera? That just doesn't make any sense. It seems like somebody came back into the house later. And then that was at 1:47 a.m. The doorbell camera disconnects, and then apparently another camera at 2:12 a.m. Software on another active camera detects a person or movement. So it likely recorded a video of the person. However, because they do not have a subscription, the camera wrote over the video. And the tech company that they had look into it, that's what they said. And then at 2:28 a.m., the pacemaker disconnects from the network. It stops connecting to her, the phone, or her phone and her watch. And that's at 2:28. And then, 9 hours or so later, the family arrives at the home of Nancy after they claim that they were told that she never showed up to church. There's also a report out there that says she never attended church and she always did it virtually. I'm sort of not believing that. I don't know. That sounds kind of weird. She would just take an Uber to church or something, wouldn't she? Although it might be hard to get into the church, like it's a lot of walking. You park and then you got to walk and stuff. So I don't know. That'd be an interesting element if that's true, because that means there isn't anybody that's called the family to say, "Hey, she didn't make it to church today." Hey, Kimmers, thank you. Wow, very cool, very cool. And then, so that's 11:56, the family arrives at her home, and then at 12:03 a.m., the family calls police. So they called police in 7 minutes. They probably saw the blood, called police. That makes sense now, that timing, doesn't it? There was an hour gap before on other timing. So just, you know what it shows you a lot, though, is there's misreporting in the news often. This information here is accurate. You can take it to the bank. This is real. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank everybody for your generosity. You guys are always so supportive, and keep the lights on over here, and allow us to donate lots of. We donate thousands of dollars every single month. Usually, February it's hard because it's a short month, etc. But we'll see how it goes at the end. We still donate, but it's not usually as big as the other months. We did 3,000 last month. And then at 12:15 a.m., the 12:03, the family calls police, and then just 12 minutes later, patrol officers arrive at the scene. They checked hospitals, pharmacies. They've looked in to see if anybody got that medication she needs. There's no indication she went over the border. Apple Watch and floodlights were mentioned in the what do you call it? The ransom notes that were sent in email, the one that TMZ got, and they were sent to other people's emails prior. They just didn't say anything. TMZ needed to capitalize on it. They didn't. That mentioned the Apple Watch and floodlights, but the Apple Watch had been mentioned and floodlights, but there must be other things in the letter that makes them believe there's some validity to it, not just those elements. And then the ransom deadline today at 5 p.m. today is a deadline, and apparently there's another deadline on Monday. I mean, so it's not really a deadline, is it? I mean, if there's a deadline at 5 p.m. and the next one's Monday, well, when's the one after that? Hey, thank you. BSER. At Bzr. At Bzr. Man, I'm going to say that name all the time. Hey, Bzr. The ransom note goal was to get the ransom note was made. Huh? Right, we know that, Mike. You always state the obvious stuff on here. Almost every show, it's like, yeah, we already said that. Yeah. It's, of course, right. Let's see, this really does sound like the movie Fargo. It does? I guess I forgot what Fargo was about. Yeah, thank you. Did they allude to a fake ransom person? Yeah, they also, right. Maybe I should put that in here. That they've already arrested one of the fake ransom demand people. Right there. You might ask yourself why you'd want to make it public. Why not just send the ransom demand to Savannah? Send her an email to NBC or something. Why would you need to send a ransom demand to all these different news outlets? So it seems like somebody. I mean, it could be like a totally different scenario than we're thinking. It could just be, almost like a pyromaniac. They're doing this whole thing, and they like to see the reaction out there. Look at all the people talking about it. They're probably trying to be cool, being one step ahead of everybody. He just didn't say it because he doesn't want to. As soon as you say the name, then people focus on it. I totally got what the sheriff was doing. If the sheriff said that Tommaso dropped her off at home, that would immediately get everybody out there saying that. Right? Everybody in the world would be out there going, oh! And that would back up what was put out there by Ashley Banfield, right? Come on, Mike, give us something. Give us something new. You can do it. Hey, thanks. Lori Gypsy. Maybe I'll stay on until noon. That's about the time I was planning on just sort of starting to load up and get the hell out. Got 19 minutes. I work in truthfulness, seeing truthfulness and reporting. Still in awe of your computer skill. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, he said it better yesterday. He thinks, when he said, we think she's still out there. Well, I mean, what does that actually mean? You know, he didn't say alive. Wow, thanks, Roman Katzman. Jeez. Got some stragglers in here. Thank you. Hey, very cool. Very cool. Let's see. So, how many people in here do not think it is involving the family, that it's just some random person? I think it could be both. That's what I was trying to tell you guys yesterday. I'm not 100% sure of this theory. This is just a theory. But I think it's possible that a family member, I hate the word, it's possible, you know. I think there's a, you know, whatever. That they hired somebody to abduct her and to do a ransom scenario where a deep-pocketed sister might send money to a crypto account that would then go back to a crypto account associated with the family member, and the other person gets to keep some too. You know, maybe they both have this, they have access to the same crypto, because there's a unique key to Bitcoin and so forth. And if they both have it, they could probably, you know, both have access to it and mutually assured destruction, that one of them isn't going to screw over the other one because they could just, you know, come forward, but I guess that'd be stupid, implicating yourself because you didn't get your money. You know, I just think that sort of makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if that's what that is. I saw that video the other day, Zozo. The guy walking around, using his camera, looking up. That's kind of old. That came out the first day. I wasn't really sure what that was. That was released. I thought that was released by the police at some point. So I'm not sure what that is. I saw the thing that you sent to me, but I saw that 2 days before that. So I don't know, you know, when. I don't remember what the context was where I saw it. It seemed like it was something, when I saw it, it was almost unrelated. And I'm just wondering if somebody's taking that clip and pretending that it's associated. You know what I mean? Because I saw that a couple days ago, and I didn't, in my mind, I don't remember it being associated with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. And then all of a sudden, oh, wow, it was in that thing that you showed me, and I was like, But that could just be my memory. Deceased, or did they take her meds? Huh? Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I mean, they're inside the house for 30 minutes or so, for sure. So that's a little weird, right? I mean, wouldn't you just go in and abduct her and get the hell out of there? But instead, you're moving around in there. What are you doing? Was there something she had that you took? And maybe this is just a robbery, and whatever method they used to kill her, they thought would have left forensic information and took her. You know, that's a possibility, too. Or the person that did the robbery actually knows her and had to kill her, but wanted to make it look like a ransom so that law enforcement's looking in a different direction other than just a direct homicide from getting something out of that house. Yeah, that's the other theories that are out there. Yeah, that thing that you sent, though, Zozo, what's the evidence that it was a neighbor? Because I remember seeing that the other day, and I don't remember associating it with the case. It seemed like it was put out by law enforcement. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen the one about the neighbor saying that.
Mother of Savannah Guthrie. As of today, February.
Yeah, let's see.
With her. Investigators also told TMZ that they are following leads involving reported trespassers in the area.
Yeah. See, but I don't know. I think this guy's using this as like B-roll footage
before Nancy's disappearance. Authorities have not confirmed whether
it doesn't say that in there. This is just some random guy making a video using that footage. And I don't know if that's, I think he might be just, hey, this would be good B-roll footage of somebody lurking around. You know, I don't know. I don't think that that's what that's from. Have you guys seen that? This video right here. See that? There's a guy at a house somewhere, and he's looking around. You know, I mean, I think I saw that associated with something else. I thought it was like a power grid situation or something. So I don't know if they're just using that as B-roll footage to add intrigue or something. I don't know. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I don't know if I believe that that's what that is. If somebody can verify separately that video is associated with the neighbors, let me know. But I'm not going to spend time. If you can, then I will spend the time looking for where that might be. But if we can't verify that, then I'm not going to do that. Let's see, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I just saw what Savannah's husband does for a living. What is it? What does he do for a living? He's a hitman for the mob. When we're wondering, or maybe they harm Nancy, then we're wondering what to do next. Yeah, maybe, I guess. But, I mean, you're going to sit there and debate it for 30 minutes? They got a chalkboard out. One of them gave their presentation. The other one said, well, I think it's more like this. And then they debated it for a while. And they go, okay, we'll go with yours. I wonder if you know what? Maybe if we can take a still frame from that and put it out online. Let me see. And see where this came from. All right, hold on. Do a Google reverse image lookup. All right, I'm going to see. Jesus, man, how come I can't save this? Save as, working on. I'm using TurboTax. All right. Let's see if we go out to Google. And then search by image. Upload. That one. Okay, this is Peeping Tom Okay, so this is where the story came from. This is December 8th. Okay, so here we go. So this is what I'm talking about. Authorities are investigating after a man was apparently spotted peeping into apartment near Cotero Farms and Thornydale. Let's see where that is. Okay, so this is how we are able to investigate this. I thought it was pretty creepy, the guy, but it's way over here. Okay, so does anybody think now that, like, okay, that's connected in some way? See how you do that? Yeah, let's see. Peeping Tom. See what I'm saying? These guys just trick people when they do shit like that. That's not even close. I mean, this is way over here. And this is just some random event from December 16th. And there you go. So I think that totally debunks that crap. So when you see people that make videos like that, just don't ever watch them again. They're just full of shit. You know, but they try to have that cool voice and, oh, look at me. Screw it. You know. Yeah, it's probably, in here somewhere in this. It looked like it was an industrial area. These are apartments. I bet it was right in there. I'm kind of missing the 3D stuff today, but how about that? Does that answer it? Not like the person that shared that video to speak shit. I don't know. I don't agree. I think that one person that, the attic one that you're always talking about, doesn't always put out accurate stuff. They put out good stuff a lot, but so they just throw anything into the wind. It doesn't matter. Let's see, and a lot of it's not accurate. I've checked over the years. All right, well, what time is it? Hey, we got 6 more minutes here. 6 more minutes. Any other thoughts out there? And thanks for coming here to watch the press conference. And thanks for all of your generosity. You know, we actually got to where we are just 3 memberships short of a normal day, like a normal minimum goal level. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, who knows if there'll be an update or something. I come on later. You know, it was weird. I was off by 4,000 on our grand total over here. I had it at 270. I can't remember if it was 8 or something, but I added all these up, and it's 283, 112 since January of 2020. Pretty cool, huh? And that's charity money that we've given out. Oh, yeah. What was the... I want to hear... Oh, yeah. Well, I think I have that somewhere. I don't know where. You want to hear that video? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Where is it? I'm at the scroll. And I don't know where that, it's so far down in this folder. Not too far away though. I have the video somewhere. I just saw it in a folder, but I don't remember what the folder was. Okay, I think I'm almost there. There it is. There it was when I was in the Idaho 4 case in Moscow, Idaho. And I was on Court TV at some point. I mean, I've been on there many times, but hold on. Let me turn up the audio. I'm sure they'll get, when I was on Court TV, do you guys see that? I'm sure they'll get the obligatory, I can't believe you had gray on your show, Vinny. I'm never watching again. When I was on Court TV, do you guys see that? See, the person laughing is actually a friend of mine who was watching and recorded himself watching it. and he sent it to me. It's when I was on because he sent it to a friend of his. He goes, "Look how funny this shit is." When I was on Court TV, do you guys see that? I'm sure they'll get the obligatory. I can't believe you had gray on your show, Vinny. I'm never watching again. I can do it. I can do it perfectly. When I was on Court TV, do you guys see that? I'm sure they'll get the obligatory. I can't believe you had gray on your show, Vinny. I'm never watching again. All right. I don't know. That's pretty funny. Yeah, it makes me laugh every time too. Don't know why. It kind of reminds me, kind of mocks the trolls and all the idiots out there. You know. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's like, I don't know. It's funny how he was laughing. All right, what do we got? 2 more minutes. So I guess Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday. I guess I'll try to do, like, I'll get my iPad out and I'll have my phone on me, and it'll look kind of similar to that. You know what you just saw. And we'll go over any updates, maybe like an hour or so. No, this is... I'll show you where I'm going to be going. It's pretty cool. Oops. Didn't put the S at the end, but here's where it is right here. See, this is right on the Oregon coast. It's rated one of the top. You know, Pacific Dunes is one of the courses here. Is top. It's right next Pebble Beach and Pacific Dunes. They always go back and forth. They used to anyway. As the #1 public golf course out there. But there's this one right here. This is Trails. It goes into the wooded area over here. And then these other ones, Bandon Dunes is my favorite. You got the lodge right here. You tee off right there. Goes downhill. You hit up to this one. Then you walk, I think, up to a spot up here, and then you tee off to this green. Then this one goes over this way. Played it a million times. Very amazingly beautiful out there. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. Looks like there's a 360-degree... Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Like you're literally playing here. This is old, though. This is Sheep Ranch. Before, I believe, they redid it. So that was the old one there. Let's see this over here. Yeah, see that? I mean, is there anything really? I mean, how could you get much better than that? That's crazy. Look at that. Awesome. So, anyways, that's where it's at. February, it gets kind of sunny over there. My kids will be staying over here. Yeah, I think they have 4 courses there. You got this one, and then there's 2 in here. They just sort of overlap next to each other. And then a third one. This is the Sheep Ranch right there. It's called. That one's, I don't know. That one's okay. I like the Sheep Ranch, Bandon Dunes. God, what is it? So now there's the Trails, Bandon Dunes, Pacific Dunes, Old McDonald, Sheep Ranch, that's 5. That's actually 5 courses. And then there's a par 3 course that they built over here somewhere. I think in there maybe. Pretty wild, huh? All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys got something out of the press conference and the conversation. We got a really much better timeline built in. I am bringing the drone. I was thinking of bringing my 360-degree camera, too, just to give you guys a sense of it out there. Never been to... Yeah, the West Coast is awesome. Pacific Ocean. And then you go through the Panama Canal to get over to the Atlantic. Through the... I guess I don't know what this place is called, right? I guess Caribbean. Yeah, is that where it is? Where is the Panama Canal? I thought it was right. Yeah, somewhere down here. I don't know. But hey, look at that! They changed the name, Gulf of America. All right, boom. They actually changed it on Google Earth. That's pretty amazing. Sweet. You know what's crazy on here? If you go into the ocean here, it'll tell you how deep it is. Right there is 16,000 feet deep, which is like over 3 miles, you know? Hey, wow, thank you. With the house, did law enforcement give detailed information in regards to if the window or door was damaged? Well, he said that he doesn't know where the information came from that somebody broke in. That's what he said. Right. If nobody broke in, then somebody knew how to get in there, and that would speak to, you know, possibly a family member. Now the key scenario is in play because if nobody broke in, they got in somehow, and you would think that somebody living there would lock their doors, right? But look how dark it is right there. How deep do you guys think this is? When I click on that black space there, how deep do you think it'll be? 23,000 right there. There, let's see. Where is it? Like right there. Look at this crazy. Right on this fault here. This is 24,000 feet deep. So what is that? 6 miles or so? Deep. Can you imagine? And then this one here is 20,000. I love looking at Google Earth. I know this has nothing to do with anything, but isn't it interesting, this shot right there? Where there really isn't any land really much other than down there. And then you see there's this island right here. And that's Hawaii. So Hawaii is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, really. But like right there. So it's interesting, like right in the middle of nowhere, if you zoom in, just go like this. I'm not looking at anything. You zoom in, and every once in a while, you can find little, tiny little atolls. See, this is all under the ocean, right there, for example. Look at this. See all these things right here? Like this is going to come up to the surface at some point. But then right here, these little tiny places where you could bring a boat to, and then there's this, like it's an atoll, they call it. It's basically a volcano, and it's surrounded, the inside of the volcano erodes away, and there's a little entry right there that you can get in. Isn't that crazy, though? And then this is, like, look how far away these little spots are from anything. Thousands of miles, you know. I always think, man, how peaceful would that be just to be sitting there for a day? You know, nowhere near anything. Pretty cool, huh? Risky abduction plan unless they knew she didn't have an alarm. Yeah, well, apparently she doesn't have an alarm system. They had cameras that weren't even, the subscription wasn't paid for. So, wow, I don't know what, you know, why you wouldn't have that, but anyways, I was already trying to get out of here. The ocean is, right, And I think me and 8675309 agree. You don't go swimming where you're potentially food for another creature. You know what I mean? Yeah. I definitely don't like swimming in the ocean. I don't mind swimming in freshwater anywhere. Well, maybe if I was in South America, maybe wouldn't want to be, where the piranhas are swimming around. But they never say anything about the blood on the inside of the door. They said that the blood on the outside on the tile was Nancy's blood. That's the only blood that they've tested, apparently. They were trying to quickly identify. They thought maybe that was a suspect. And it's interesting that they thought maybe that was a suspect. And I don't know why they thought that, because obviously the person was close to the ground and like expirated blood on the ground. So I don't know why they would think that would be the abductor. Yeah, if I lived in Australia, you'd never see me swimming in the water. There's no chance. So, anyways, there we go. We're past the 12 o'clock mark here. I want to thank everybody that was here, everybody that hit that like button, share the video, everybody that supported the channel financially. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It allows us to keep doing this. Hopefully tonight at some point I can, if there's an update, I'll zip on my cell phone and try to do like a live stream on my phone. So the titles and everything might suck. So just make sure to check in, and because I don't have the ability, I don't know how these people put thumbnails out when they're out and about. I don't know how they do those things, but I wonder if I used the iPad to stream, how that would work. That might be a better way to do it. When I'm out of prison. You out of prison? What do you mean? All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, well, first I'm going to say, I hope that they make an arrest soon. I hope she's still alive. The press conference didn't get us any closer mentally to knowing kind of what's happening too much. They gave us good timeline information, all right? So that's it. And, got a 4-hour drive ahead of me, and we'll talk to you guys later, all right? So thanks for being here. Thanks for your generosity, your support, and we will see you guys perhaps later this evening. Who knows? Thanks for being here. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. How is being a school teacher being in prison, Kobe? Come on.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person.
Not even one grade?
Not even one.
Dissector, plug rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya.
I'm never watching
if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector.
Deflector, interceptor, and I'm
meaner than a spectre with a vector.
Inspector, with all respect,
yo.
Just remember I've a temper fucking
conjecture.
I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work.
What the heck was that, Mary Lou? Fender!
I just thought it sounded pretty cool, Greg. You don't have to be so baby.
Are you crying?
Nope, I'm not crying at all, Greg. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, Jesus. Tricked me again. How many times has Mary Lou pretended she was really upset, but the cry itself doesn't sound legit, so I question, and then it's just totally bogus. And I think a lot of people out there probably thought she was actually upset about something, but she really wasn't. She was just trying to play on the heartstrings of the viewers, maybe get some of the trolls involved to say, hey, look how mean Gray was to Mary Lou. There'll probably be 17 videos on that later. We just aren't sure at this point. All right. Thanks, everybody. And let's do that last part, this one. Thank you for watching Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube, where we cover true crime using facts, logic, reason, and common sense to figure out exactly what happens in every case we cover. Thank you very much for watching, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Bye. Correct.
See you guys.